Hello, this is Professor Angelia with part 3 of Works of Heart's Zen-Experiences and Awareness class. We left off talking about how all things are impermanent but your spirit. So today we're going to start off on equals. We are all to be equals. Anyone who insists that they are above another, or that one sex, or color, or creed is above another is ignorant. God made us all in his, her, or their image. Any corruption of personhood and justice for all is not from God, despite what the perpetrator may say. It comes from somewhere else. And, I don't mean literally, I mean, from the enemy, the other side. Who you are is not what you look like necessarily. I know that's not my case. Some of the greatest people in history were not considered physically attractive. It was their inside that made them shine. Their real them. Their soul. Would you have dated Buddha? Probably not, because he probably wouldn't have dated you. So, Gandhi or Albert Einstein? Would you like to hang out with them in the afterlife, though? I know I probably would. I know that I would. Your inner being far outweighs the mathematical balance of symmetry that dictates physical attractiveness. Conscience is for a reason. If you know that something is wrong for you, don't do it. I'm going to adjust myself a little bit here. I feel like I'm too far up. A little. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I want you to see me, not like above my head. Think of others, but not to the detriment of yourself. Don't judge. You never fully know someone else's reasons unless you ask about their experience. And then also you have to listen so you can hear about it. Compassion is the greatest gift that you can give to yourself and to others. If you make the effort, someday you will realize that you are becoming who you want to be if you make the effort. Are you always left wanting more? A lot of people are. Do you really need more? Most people don't. Are you trying to keep up with the Joneses? Or must you be the height of fashion and the latest trends? Now, I know in my past, I kind of was doing that. I had a grandma who used to shop, in the big cities, for clothes for me of the latest French fashion and, Italian fashion. And, I really like that. But, not so much anymore. I just like what I like. This usually stems from not getting your needs met as a child, and you are left grasping at what amount to straws and can't talk today. Straws to make you happy. These things won't. Because no matter how much you get, you can never get enough to fill the hole to make you happy. The hole's inside of you. You need to fill that with self-love, self-care. Things will never bring you happiness, no matter how many you have. You must go back and heal these points and move on, realizing that greed is a show of need. Are you too attached to people or things? This usually stems from insecurities from childhood. Try to figure these out and heal those points so that you don't suffocate others with your clinging too tightly to them. It will also help you let go of objects that no longer serve your life and help you to declutter. something I'm working on right now. It's okay to want to keep things that have sentimental value to you. Good memories are a healthy thing to examine. I'm talking about like decluttering the business stuff, because at one point when I closed my office, my entire business was in this area behind me where you see stuff stacked up, and in the front of my living room. So the front of the living room part is gone. Half of this, top of my buffet is gone, and all the stuff stacked up over there in that area is now in another things that I want to save for maybe writing books later on. I plan on writing some more books later on. Rest of it is going. It's one of the reasons I'm putting all my classes on YouTube, so you guys can have the information, and I don't have to, hold on to so much stuff. So if someone were to call later on and I was like, oh yeah, let me get, no, you can see it on YouTube, there it is. Do you know what you are feeling? A lot of people don't, because they repress their feelings so much, they have no idea. They become numb, and then they don't know how to feel about anything. If you can stop and examine your feelings each time you start a new activity throughout the day, it will help you know your mind as well. What am I doing? How do I feel about that? Why am I doing it? Are you scared to contact people? And I know I was for a while. I had agoraphobia. I didn't want to leave my home because I was scared of people, because so many people had come on me, attacked me, and I didn't want to deal with that. Contact is how we relate to each other. If you are scared of others, it is usually because you have been abused by others. That was certainly true in my case. At some point in time. Think of the ways that others have abused you in any way, and try to heal those points so that you can reach out and participate and enjoy your life more. And I did that, and I developed some really great friendships with some people, and I'm so really glad that I did that, for me and for them. Are you easily distracted? And I'm not talking about if you have ADD or ADHD. I'm talking about, when people let the mind water because they don't want to sit with themselves and think about themselves and what's going on and what needs healing in their life. In some cases, this may be legitimate ADD or ADHD. In some cases, it may be escapism. That's the kind I'm talking about. Sometimes it could be boredom. If you find yourself distracted by something that you see, hear, smell, or feel, decide if it is just your senses reacting to something pleasing or unpleasing, or you are wanting a distraction at that moment for some reason. And again, this is all about getting to know your own mind. Exercising your power of thought like that helps you to know your own mind. Can you tell I've been teaching this for years? Is your body what you want it to be? Can you change it into what you want? Because that's not always the case. In a lot of cases, the answer is no. And you must learn to see yourself on the inside as what you want on the outside. Because it's more important who you are on the inside than what you are on the outside. Certainly, I'd like to go back to being a 36, 24, 36. Certainly, however, I'm not healthy enough to do the amount of exercise that it took to do that, about an hour a day. So it is what it is. I eat healthy. I'm on a diet. I will say that differently. A nutrition program, because diets don't work, because if you're hungry, then you're going to eat. So that's the fact there. And light 10-minute exercise with low impact, things like stretching, yoga, movement, things like that. And that is much more important, that you be healthy, than you look a certain way. And a lot of people who look that way don't really look that way because, as we know, a lot of models are photoshopped on magazines and, even edited, on TV and video. So, being that's perfect size 7 or 0 is not as important as who you are inside. Only the mirror will tell you differently. Spending too much time in front of it is not healthy. Because if you have low self-esteem, you're going to nitpick yourself to death. I mean, I had people tell me, how great looking I was or whatever when I was younger. And I would look in the mirror and all I would see is a skinny, boyish kid. That's all I would see. Because that's where my self-esteem was. I couldn't see myself as pretty or curvy or anything because when I was younger, a person who was abusing me, that's one of the things they would tell me is like, oh, you got horse legs, you're skinny as a little horse, you look like a little boy, That's what I saw. No one is perfect. Jesus said, no, not one of you will be. Not even the most popular supermodel is perfect. And more than likely, if you were to ask her or him, she would point out all of her flaws for you. We are human and therefore insecure about our physical bodies. Think about your name. Does it suit you? If not, you may change it. I think you can go down to the courthouse for, last I heard, like $60 or whatever. Now, my name, Angelia or Angela, the Latin is, of course, Angelia. And if you want to get picky, it's like Georgia, California. So, actually, my name is Angelia. But I'm not going with that. So, I had people, where we would just pronounce it English, Angela. And then I was telling people that, and then later on I let people call me Angelia because if you want to go into Latin, that's it. So there was some problems with some people's attitudes about that, whatever. To me, I prefer Angelia to Angela. It's my name. So there we are. You can explain lovingly to your parents why your name does not suit you and why you want to change it if you feel like you should. Now, some people don't have a relationship with their parents, so they don't feel the need to explain why they're changing their name. I knew a woman who was named after a great aunt who was a really nasty, mean person when they got older. And so she wanted to change her name to something that suited her more because all she had was bad memories of this person. And that affected her self-esteem. When you become fully aware, you will see things for yourself and realize that all of this is a big play. All of this, is just a show. And what you do in your life and who you are is what matters the most. Nothing outside of you is going to make you happy. Abuse. It hurts the victim and brings the perpetrator into an even deeper level of hell emotionally. Psychologically impossible, literally. Ignorance. It grows and feeds itself until bigotry is born. Someday you will find balance if you try. You have to try. Someday you will be at peace if you try. You have to try. Someday you will know what you really want if you search your soul for it. Someday you will realize when your mind is right. Are you keeping your mind aware of what's going on around you? Prioritizing and uncluttering your thoughts. Are you putting out enough effort to grow and make the world a better place? If you are sitting on the couch for 7 hours a day, then chances are you're not. Unless you work at strictly a philanthropic job. Good gosh, my tongue today. Don't have a stroke, people. It's annoying. We all must do our part to make this world a better place for the next generation. Are you happy with what you do for a living? Most people aren't nowadays. Turn my page. If you fit into this group, think about how tolerable your livelihood is for your soul. If you have gone back and found yourself, you know what you want now. And you may need to adjust your livelihood. Slowly is the best advice. It could be risky to quit your job before you get another one lined up. Do you do the right thing? Sometimes out of fear, we choose inaction instead of action. Whether it be helping someone else or even ourselves. It's really us that we cheat when we do this because we deny ourselves the act of giving another person or even ourselves a chance to be thankful or joyful. The way you look at things is important. Are you blowing things out of proportion? And I know some people, that have anxiety, like I say, they make the Sierra Nevadas or the Alps out of a molehill. And you're just looking at this like, what the, But some people do this. Now, some of them can't help it. Some of them, are just so emotionally raw that this is the go-to. And if that's the case for you, my advice would be to get some psychotherapy, to get some medication, to try and level that out so that you can become healthy. Because if you're in that state all the time, that's going to be a problem. And you're never going to live up to your potential. You have to get that under control if you want to live up to your potential. When you are feeling overwhelmed, sit back and take it all in. Notice everything around you and try to put things into perspective and decide how important they really are. That may help you prioritize. Now, there's the old saying is, will this matter in 5 years? Through studying and learning your mind, you will grow and you will understand more. Are you minimalizing things that are problems? Because some people do that too. Like, oh, that's not a problem. Nah, I can quit whenever I want. I got that under control. I don't have to do that if I don't want. Then why are you doing it? Ask the people around you. And then make up your own mind. Always try to be aware of your inner self and what you really want out of life. That will help you stay on your path and not be swayed by others. Because the devil's got an agenda. Other bad people have an agenda. And if they can push you off, to make themselves feel better, like saying misery loves company, then they're certainly going to do it. So if you let them do it, they will. So, you must know what you want and then go for what you want. That may be hard for some people because they haven't thought about that for decades. Like I said, some people go into the adult world and get lost. When you're a kid, you might be gung-ho, ready, I'm going to be this, do this. Then you get in the adult world and the bills come and you got to get a place to live and you might have relationships and whoo, there goes your, thought process of who you are out the window. You get lost in the adult world. You have to know yourself to be yourself. Common sense right there. Think about what you want in your best year ever. What did you want to be? And for some people, that's a different age. 12, 17, 18, best year ever. Think of that year. What did you want to be? Would you still like to be that? Is there something in your life that you didn't do that you really wanted to? In an acting class, I recently met a 72-year-old woman who had always wanted to try it, but said that everyone just laughed at her when she said that. So she never pursued it until now. Would she have been a starlet in her younger days? We will never know, will we? But she is doing what she had always wanted to do now. And she is deriving great joy out of it, even if she never becomes a household name. Next, make a list of good things that you have done in your life. We have all helped someone at one time or another, even if it was when we were children. Next, make a list about what you like about yourself. That is not vanity, but an exercise in self-esteem. We all have things that we like about ourselves and things that we do well. Make a list of them. Then read these lists to yourself every day until you feel 100% internalized in your heart. Then remember that as chances to perform good and helpful deeds for others arise, you are at heart a capable and helpful person who can do this for them. Turn the page. Getting to know yourself is the only way to prevent yourself from performing future self-destructive acts. You must know who you are, what you like, what you want out of life, before you can take steps to keep yourself on your own individual path. The next thing to do is to stop responding in negative ways. Now, I know that's hard. You know, I got some, my dad's a little Irish temper in there, and it's hard sometimes to not respond in negative ways when people come at you with negative things. The number one is usually the generalizations. People always assume I'm going to be like this, so I do it. No one knows you upon first meeting. You have the power to make the first impression. If you hang back and glare at a new person, then they are going to assume that you are somewhat hostile. That is called a self-fulfilling prophecy. You make a generalization that everyone thinks this or that about you. So you project that outwards to them, so that then they do think that about you. When you find out who you are, you will be happier. People will notice this and maybe even ask about the change. Our behavior is never set in stone. We always have the power and choice to change it. When you catch yourself in negative or destructive behaviors, you can stop yourself and say, why am I doing this? And then think about the answer. A lot of people don't like to examine their own motives and decide that this is who I am. And if other people don't like it, then they don't have to be around me. They think that's really okay. We all know that it's not. It's deep emotional pain that drives us to seek isolation. We are social animals, and we would all like to be loved and accepted for who we are. Are you keeping your mind aware of what's going on around you? Prioritizing and uncluttering your thoughts. See, we come back to that again. Because as I'm giving you things to think about, you can pause and think about it and, work on this. Purge the garbage. Become centered and in yourself. You have to be aware of what's going on around you. To be present in every moment. How many times has someone said to you, how many times has someone said something to you and you were so absorbed in what you were doing that you had no idea what this person just said to you? Each moment is precious. It will never happen again. We must be mindful of this and respond properly to each and every phenomenon. We must do our best in every moment. This will take time, especially if we are the type of person who wants to put everyone off until they have finished a certain task. What if there is a disaster and that free moment never comes for that person that you put off? There must, of course, be boundaries, especially with children. But if we take the time to start responding in a mindful way, it will improve our relationship with ourselves and others. Today is just one of them reading and speaking days for me. We all need to know that we are being heard, even if it takes us a couple times to say what we're trying to. A lot fewer car accidents would happen if the people involved were not intoxicated, phoning, or distracted talking to someone. Presence of mind means that the person be aware of everything that is going on around them and focus on the more important things. Most of us can talk and work at the same time, but driving needs more of our senses. I should always remain on the road. You must get to know your own mind. Meditation is a good way to do this. You can listen to music and write down your feelings, or chant to clear your mind. Then think about things in a focused manner. I find mandalas helpful to bring what's bothering me to the surface and examine my feelings and calm them. Sitting on a park bench, looking up through the trees and listening to the birds is a very calming, gotta turn my page here, way to clear your mind. Then you can start to think about who you were. That may sound strange, but at one time, you were who you are meant to be. When you were a kid, did you like to write, read, look at art, watch movies? Did you like to draw or paint? What music did you like? Did you play an instrument? Do you like doing arts and crafts? What games did you like? Were you athletic? Do you love learning new things? You see, children don't have the constraints and responsibilities on them, hopefully, that adults do. At some point in your childhood, you had your best year ever. What made this your best year? By remembering who you were, you can rediscover who you are. Some of us get so lost in our day-to-day routine and responsible adult lives that we forget who we are. We bury ourselves in our responsibilities and become someone who we don't know. We must reconnect with our souls and remember who we are. I'm not saying that we should become irresponsible. On the contrary, you should keep your life intact as much as possible to avoid circumstance shock and give up on revisiting yourself. However, we should work in some time, even if only a half hour a day, to do something that you love. When your spouse, children, or family see that you are happier, they will want to find something that suits them too, to have fun with. How marvelous it is to rediscover what gives your soul joy. And you heard our bell a minute ago, I'm sure. So that's all for now. I hope you found this educational and informational. Until next time.